Alright everybody, it is Monday, so I am getting started on getting that cabinet installed. I keep calling it a cabinet, it's a vanity, but anyway, I had to run down to Lowe's in order to get some shims and some screws just to make sure that everything comes out level, and then hopefully we can get started on the flooring so that way you can kind of get an idea. So let's get in there and get started. Okay, so one of the first things that I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm getting it level this way, getting it level this way, and getting it level this way as well. So I'm just going to lay this across it, and I can't really see the bead, the bubble anymore, so I'm going to use my torpedo level on top of it, so that way I have an idea. Oh wow, there's a huge gap right there. Maybe the subfloor wasn't as good as I thought it was. So, knowing that I've got this thing where I want it, I'll put the screw in it on the other side, that way it's locked in, done. I'm going to leave the face that I painted off for a while. I just don't want to rub up against it in case, you know, whatever. I know my luck, I'll end up gouging it with something, so it's just better not to do it. I'll get that tape off there. So I like where it's at. It's level here, level here, level here. Guess I should. And it's level there. So hey, 3 for 3, or yeah, 4 for 3, 4 for 4, whatever. First time I ever got a cabinet that square, that fast. Of course, the last one that I did, it was the floor because it like dived down right in front of it. So, but anyway. This is done, with the exception of putting that screw in there. I don't know that y'all need to see me put a screw in, so I probably won't show that. And I'm going to get the rest of this junk tore out of here, and I'm going to get the flooring and show you what I've got going on there, and just start putting some of it down so you can kind of see what it is. I won't lock it in right now because it's time to call it a day. Even though I haven't really worked on this thing all day long, I've just had lots of stuff going on that needed my attention, so which I didn't film. Probably should have, but I didn't know how bored you want to be with that. So yeah, I'm going to get this stuff picked up, and I'll lay some of it down for you. Oh, okay gang, welcome back. We are going to get started, and alright, so we're back in the bathroom. Never ending. I have cleaned out the bathroom. I've done everything that I need to do to make sure it's clean. I've got some solid surfaces. When you're laying pre-engineered, when you're laying hardwood, when you're laying laminate, when you're LVP, whatever kind that you're laying here, one of the things that you need to do to prep is obviously clean the subfloor the best you can, or the concrete if you're doing slab on grade, and make sure that it's ready to go. The other thing that you need to do is you actually need a level, preferably an 8-foot level or a 6-foot level. You know, even the 3-foot, 4-foot level will do just fine. What you're doing, and I'll show you what I mean by that when I do it, is you're trying to find any low places or high places that you need to fix before you're installing the flooring. Now, any LVP, any laminate has a tolerance that it'll give you. Those are the instructions for that. So you need to make sure you're trying to follow that the best you can. Otherwise, you will cause yourself some misery with the flooring. So let me just grab the level. I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. Basically, what you want to do, like if you're doing a subgrade, if you're doing a subfloor, you basically just want to run it over the top to find out if there's any gaps or any hills or anything like that. Anything that would cause this floor to be an issue. As you can see, there's nothing in there. We can kind of roll it back. You don't see any daylight that's going through there or any gapping. You normally would see something that's rocking back and forth and stuff like that. What that does is it tells you that you have a plain level surface. There's no issues. You would just go over all the floor that you possibly can. So that's one of the first things that you want to do besides cleaning the surface. So once you have that done, you're basically ready. Now, if you're doing an LVP, if you're doing a laminate, unless it has a foam backing on it, you will have to lay down a underlayment under it. Bathrooms, you may want to lay down a 6mm plastic. It's not necessary all the time. This pre-engineered stuff does not require an underlayment of any kind. One thing to keep in mind, and I'll just point this over, is if you have a vanity that you're doing and you decide, hey, I want my vanity over the top of the subfloor, then you would have to take the planks that will go underneath there and actually glue those down. So you do not want to set a vanity over the top of floating floor unless you glue that section of the vanity or glue that section of the planks down. The reason why is because when you set that heavy surface on there, you cause a problem with it being able to float from wall to wall, side to side, wall to wall, north, south, east, west, whatever, however you want to take it, X, Y axis. And if you have a problem with the flooring at some point and you call a rep out, they're going to see that. Did you glue it down? No, because they're going to be able to check it as well. And you're going to be out of luck. So if you put the vanity down, you got to glue the planks. The reason why I put the vanity in first is because I didn't want to have to glue it down. I didn't want to have to mess with it. I will just simply put the flooring around it. On top of that, if I have a problem with the flooring, then I can just take care of that and move on. I will just put quarter round around all the way around, solves the problem, we can move on from there. So that's the reason why I'm doing it that way. So I've already taken the time and I've already put one piece or two pieces down. The great thing about this pre-engineered stuff, the reason why I like this is because you actually get a full length. Let me see if I can show you that really quick. This is a full length one from here to here. You get an intermediate and you get a small one. So they're already pre-cutting some pieces for you to be able to use in order to stagger your boards. There shouldn't be a whole lot of cutting except for on the either ends of these when you're lining up to the end. Now just understand one thing. I would not use a short board like this in the center of the floor. They are better to be at the end, either end of it, not in the center. It will not look right. You'll have this one placement board that will stand out like a sore thumb in a hammering contest. If you're going to use a short board, this would be the one to use. This is probably about a 3-foot board. You can go back and you can use this to restagger if you'd like on that end, and then put another long board in there and then stagger off so and so, such and such. So that's something that I would look at doing. You can even take this shorter board if you want to put a 8-inch or 9-inch stagger off of that line down and then stagger it out that way. I'm actually going to take this and I'm actually going to cut it about 8 inches away to kind of get that stagger effect. Because when you do this and then put another board in, you do a short piece and a long board in there, it will stagger it out. The last thing you want is something that kind of stair steps. That's going to look really weird doing it that way. You at least want these to miss a short board here to miss every other board on your way down to make it look kind of correct. So keep that in mind. I will probably cut it right in here and then start my board cut that direction. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. I'll cut it 8 inches off back that way so it's flush to the wall and then come this direction. So I'm actually going to give you a tip that I use because floating floors can be a pain in the rear end, because when you're trying to tap it in, when you're trying to do X, Y, Z to it, it moves around because it's not like a hardwood floor that is getting nailed every time you put it in or glued down, whatever. They're going to move that way, they're going to move that way, they're going to move that way when you're trying to do whatever you're trying to do. This is not something that the manufacturer recommends. but I don't really care because floating floors are a pain in the butt. So this is what I'm going to suggest to you. I'm going to suggest that you put a screw as close to the edge as you can, to the point that your baseboard is going to cover it up. Now, if you're putting 3/4 board in around your baseboard, you're going to move it as close to the edge as you possibly can. I would do it 2 and 1 in order to get this thing to stabilize, so it's not moving this way back and forth. You're not constantly having to move it out. You're not constantly having to do it. You don't have to buy spacers. Spacers aren't folding over. They aren't going through the sheetrock. Yada yada yada. So as you can tell, my frustration with floating floors and spacers are a pain in the rear end, and I don't like dealing with them. So I started doing this on any floor that has a subfloor to it. Obviously, if you're concrete, you may have to come up with a solution to figure it out, whether that's taking a 1/2 inch board or a board and rip it down 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch or 3/8, whatever you might have it, and tacking it to the wall long enough for you to be able to pull it out later. That's 100% on you to figure that out. All I know is that I'm doing this and this is the way I do it. So if I have a problem with this floor, I will dig it up and replace it with something else. I'm not going to call a rep because, quite frankly, the reps are a pain in the butt too, because they're not taking anything into consideration of what the product is or what the issue could be. Kind of remember this, that 30 days into 60 days, it's typically the product. If it's past 30, 60 days, it's the installation. And that's what they're going to look at. And in fact, that I actually had a rep tell me, it's not the product's problem, it's the installation. We're not going to do anything for you. So, yeah, that's kind of what they all like to say. So, keep that in mind when you're doing it. 9 times out of 10, the manufacturer reps are not your friend and they don't care. A lot of times they'll take care of you. I'm not trying to bash all of them because a lot of them are a lot better than others, but they are kind of a pain to deal with. So just keep that in mind if you have to file a claim. The stores, if you buy them from big box stores, they're going to go right back to the rep, and that's just what they're going to do. They don't want to be in the middle of it either, because 9 times out of 10 it's the install. So just remember that. One last little tidbit that I will give you before I continue on this is, if you are doing your whole house in laminate, LVP, whatever it is, you need to plan on a couple things. One, if you're going over 45 feet in length, you're going to have to put a transition in the wall or in the floor somewhere, because it floats, it's going to move, which means it's going to separate if there's nothing there for it to bounce back and forth between. So typically what they tell you is take the longest wall you have and use that as your guide to lay your boards. But if you're over 45 feet, you may have to go from a vertical to a horizontal, meaning instead of going this way, you may have to go this way, if that makes sense. Be prepared for that. Most of your big box stores will not, absolutely 100% will not put a transition strip in, even if you ask them not to do it. I think I got that. So that means if there's 45 feet there, they're putting a transition strip down, or a 4-in-1, whatever it could be. They won't do it because it's a warranty issue, because it will fall back on them. If the manufacturer comes out and says, nope, they don't have a transition strip there, it's on them. They have to go back out and fix it, and oftentimes tear up the whole floor and do it again. So be prepared for that if you go into a big box store. That's just life. Other installers, they don't care. They'll put it down and they'll still warranty it no matter what, but they may do it differently, and they may tell you we're going to go horizontal versus vertical. So All right, that's enough of tips for that. Actually borrowed this from my dad, like I said. We're going to make a few passes to see if we can't get this knocked down. Hopefully I do not dull the blades because I do not want to buy any. That was actually his last words to me. You dull my blades, you're buying blades. So yeah, let's not do that. Let's just get through this as easily as possible. And hopefully we'll get this taken care of and move on to it. So here we go. Flooring is done. It is cleaned. I almost don't want to walk on it. That's how clean it is. But I got everything installed to it. As you can see, I got it all the way around it. I got the trim outside right here. This is where I'm going to stop. I think the flooring was the most important part to get done. Obviously, this is the next step. So, again, Smart Core Natural, pre-engineered vinyl. It has a wood veneer on the top of it with a core vinyl base. It is a pure lock together. I love this stuff. I mean, this is amazing. I was telling my dad I'm not ever putting another flooring down in a vinyl or a floating floor that isn't this. That's how much I enjoyed putting this in, which I couldn't say that for the rest of them. So yeah, it's ready to go. Alright, so I'm going to do some minor cleanup. I have quarter round to put on, I have baseboard put on, install a toilet, I hope. I'm not going to do that in this video. This thing is going to be long enough, so I definitely don't want to get, a 30-40 minute video to have you sit and watch. And you might enjoy that, but I kind of know that time is valuable, and sitting around all day with a 30-minute video isn't always the most easiest and pleasant thing. So, yeah, I came outside. I just want to show you basically what I have for scrap before I let you go. I mean, obviously this is a smaller room, so it's not as big. I only used about a quarter of the second box. So I was really happy about that. So just to get you an idea of what I have left over for scrap, this is what I have. So that's basically it. That's everything that I have, little pieces that are on the ground. But I can't really complain about that. I mean, it's minimal waste. I got my money's worth. I still have a box left over, so now we got to figure out what to do with the box, or buy some more and do another project somewhere. Anyway, that's it. That's all I've got on this one. Stay tuned for the next one. We're going to go over baseboards. I know the baseboards probably seem a little ridiculous on doing a whole show on that, but I just want to kind of show you some pointers that I've learned, some things that I've used in my other bathroom that I did with it, especially when it comes to ending trim, baseboard trim and stuff like that. And I want to kind of show you what I'm going to be doing around that tile and the flooring right there as well. So that's a pretty important spot too. So with that, I really appreciate you all watching. It means a lot. Big shout out to Armando. And I want to give a quick shout out to the newest subscriber on the channel, Armando Platero. So hopefully I got the last name pronounced correctly. If I don't, shoot me a message and let me know if I didn't. I apologize if I didn't, but I do appreciate the subscribe. We actually have another subscriber as well. It didn't show me who exactly it was, so usually they don't go public with most of that stuff sometimes. So I appreciate both of the subscribes to the channel. It means a lot to me. That means we're on our way to 80. So now we're at 72. Now we're at 72. We only need 8 more to get to 80. So let's keep getting them subscribes. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out, because it means a lot. It makes that YouTube algorithm move, and that way everybody finds me. So I appreciate the time you take to watch the videos. You all keep watching. I'll keep posting, and we'll get this house and bathroom remodel done as soon as possible.